Hello friends, and welcome to my March reading wrap up. Not March, it is March. My February reading wrap up. And let's just say February was rough. It was rough, buddy. Let's go over our stats. On the good side, we read 23 books. My goal is always at least 20 books a month. I would prefer to do a book a day, but it didn't happen. February was difficult for me because I went on vacation and it was the Winter Olympics and I watched a lot of hours of figure skating. But we still managed to get through 23 books, which equaled 8,223 pages. I read mainly emotional books, with 12 of the books being emotional, 10 being lighthearted, 10 being funny, 7 tense, 7 dark, 6 mysterious, 5 adventurous, 2 hopeful, and then 1 sad, reflective, and inspiring. I read mainly medium-paced books, with 72% of my books being medium-paced and 23% being fast. 87% of the books that I read were between 300 and 500 pages, and I had 9% being under 300 and 4% being over 500. All fiction this month, and for genres, I read 11 romance and 11 contemporary. We read, oopsie daisy. We read 5 thrillers, 4 LGBTQIA+, 4 mystery, 3 fantasy, 2 horror, and 1 of the following: dystopian, classic, YA, short story, sci-fi, and literary. Oh, I was like, what did I read that's a classic? But I think if I click on this, I'll be correct, which is classified as the classic. Yes. Okay. I do have quite a few books this month that I actually don't own, but we will get into it all. So the first book that I read this month, and this is in the Tattoos Pick My TBR video, is Snow Globe by So Young Park. This is this YA? Let me verify. I don't want to be a liar. Yes. This is a YA dystopian book. It gives kind of like a Black Mirror episode. And so in this society, the world is very, very, very cold, and there is this, you can kind of like see what it would look like here. There is this structure that looks like a snow globe where all of the important people live, but they live their lives kind of like a reality show. And the people who live outside of the snow globe have all these medical issues, all these things going on, but they spend their days doing things like running on treadmills to provide power to the snow globe and all of these things. And when one of the most popular people on this like reality show dies, they call up our main character because she's one of her doppelgangers, and they want her to come assume her position to pretend that none of it ever happened. So she goes and she starts seeing all of the crazy things that happen in the snow globe. I gave this book 3 stars. There were some twists and turns in this that really did not work for me, but overall it was a fun time. It was a quick time and I enjoyed it. It is part of a series I don't care enough to continue, but I do recommend overall. So the next book I read I don't own. It is this one, which is Night Swim by Megan Golden. I was just looking up the characters' names so that, you know, that's always the most difficult part for me. So this book is about our main character, Rachel. She is a true crime podcaster, and she is going to this small town to cover this court case about this guy who's being charged with assaulting these girls. He was supposed to be this Olympic swimmer. His whole life is over. The town's very corrupt, XYZ. While she's going there, she receives mail all the time, people wanting her to help solve cases because she does a true crime podcast, and she does, in fact, sometimes solve cases. So when she gets this letter in the mail from this girl wanting her help to find her sister Jenny, who has been missing, and she believes the police have been covering it up, and it is in the same town that she's going to be in, she starts getting a little curious. But then she gets a little bit scared when these letters start appearing not in her email, in social media, but they start arriving to her, in her hotel room, on her car. Somebody is watching her and somebody is close, and they want her help, and she has to decide if this person's dangerous or what the tea is. But it was really, really fun. I actually really enjoyed this and gave this 4 stars. Highly recommend. I read this in my book swap with my friend Madison, and for somebody who's really been having a hard time with thrillers, I was really happy to read that one. The next book that I read was The House Next Door by Darcy Coates. This was in my Buzzword Reading Challenge video for the month of February. There was a silhouette on the cover. This was fun, but it didn't... The endings of Darcy Coates' books always just fall flat for me. So this was really, really fun until it wasn't. So this is about this woman, Josephine and Anna, I believe is the girl's name, yeah. So Josephine lives right by this house, which is the Marwick house, and it is considered to be haunted by most of the people in town. And when this girl Anna moves in, Josephine or Joe decides she's gonna try to befriend her. So she goes over, brings her baked goods, they get to talking, whatever. The house feels very suspicious. We find out that Anna moved there to avoid an abusive person in her life, an abusive man, and so she kind of tells Joe if this guy comes around, says she doesn't know her, blah, blah, blah. Weirder and weirder things start happening in the house. Some while Joe's there, some where she can just like see lights turning on from across the street. She confronts Anna about it, and they figure out there was like a saging of the house, which was so good. I loved that part, but that part was like 5 stars, but the rest of the book just fell like kind of flat. We spent a lot of time in Joe's house with her cooking and like weird things happening, but the overall, like, this is very short. This book is like less than 250 pages. I don't want to say too much, but the twists and turns that we took along the way just didn't super work for me. I gave it 3 stars. I had a fun time, but it's not my favorite haunted house story. Comment down below your favorite haunted house story. I really like the green Riley Sager one, Home Before Dark. I love that book. My best friend's exorcism is more like she's haunted, but give me any exorcisms, haunted house. I want it all, okay? Next up, I read this book also for my book spot with my friend Madison. This one's called Everyone Here Is Lying by Sherry LaPenna, and I did not like this book. I gave it 2 stars. This is my second time with this author. The first time I gave her 3 stars, and this time I gave her 2 stars, so I just don't think she is the author for me. Literally, my review, I wrote there's nothing wrong with this book other than it just didn't work for me. This book very much so feels like a detective story, which my friend Madison works as a paralegal, and so she like is in like the law field, so I can see her really probably enjoying stories like this because of that aspect. But I found it so boring. It had a really great setup about this guy, William, who's been having an affair on his wife. The lady he is having the affair with, she's also married. She wants to call it off. He gets home, his 9-year-old daughter, Avery, is home. She's not supposed to be. And he and Avery don't really get along. Avery's kind of like a more difficult child. He slaps her across the face and leaves. And when he gets home, she is missing. So now we're following this detective who's trying to uncover all the lies and secrets in this town and figure out what happened to Avery. It was just not my thing. Next up, this is for a video that I don't believe is out yet. It's not. I know that for a fact. I don't know why I said that. That was definitely a lie. I know it's not out. It's going to be a reading reality TV show. I haven't even finished reading the books. I'm not really sure why I even said that. Reading reality TV themed books. But this is Hot Summer by Elle Everhart. And if you like the show Love Island, buy this book, pick it up. The regular cover doesn't look like this. I found the Afterlight exclusive version for like $12 at the used bookstore, so I had to have it. But this was so fun. This was about our 2 girly pops, Cass and Ada. And Cass works for this company that's kind of like a dating app, but it's in person, and they kind of want more attention on their TV show, or not their TV show, on their app. So they kind of work with producers to get Cass planted on the show. She knows why she's there, and they want her to get to kind of like the top 5 to really cement her as a character so people remember her, and it'll make them want to use their platform. Cass is like, whatever, I'll go, I'll do that. Cass is bisexual, and when she gets there, she's not really vibing with any of the guys. And then when Ada walks in, she's like, oh my god, like, she's so beautiful, blah, 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 blah. Turns out Ada is also bisexual, and they really have more chemistry than anybody on the show. They're both being coupled up with the different guys. We have, like, the challenges, the recouplings, the games that they play on Love Island literally are present in this. And everybody's kind of like, girls, why don't you just couple up because you don't like anybody but each other anyway, and you're not fooling any of us. So they decide to couple up, but then Cass is kind of stuck in this predicament where she does actually like Ada, and she's starting to develop feelings, and what she went into this show for was kind of like a joke, but now that she's there, she realized, and she also signed like an NDA, so she can't tell anybody why she's really there or where she works. She's kind of built this web of lies that she has to get herself out of. But it was really fun. I gave it 4 stars. Highly recommend. Then I read this one right here, which is Dear Debbie by Frida McFadden. It was my book club pick for the month. This book was just really wacky. I don't want to say much because I feel like anything I say is very spoiler. I did not like this book, so I feel like anything I say is going to be really bashing it, and to do that I have to talk about all the things I hated, which is all spoilers. You know what I mean? But baseline, this is about our girl Debbie. She writes kind of like a column for this magazine called Dear Debbie, where people write in their things. She starts giving them unhinged like recommendations, and her life is kind of spiraling. She loses her job because of that. Her husband's keeping secrets. Something's going on with her daughter. Her daughter's dating this really shitty guy, and so now she just starts going on this rampage trying to get payback on anybody who's wronged her or her family by any means necessary. I gave it 2 stars. I really actually did not like that book. Then I read Road Trip with a Vampire by Jenna Levine, and this is the 3rd book in the My Roommate series. This is actually, unfortunately, my least favorite. I gave the first 2 books in the series 5 stars, and then I gave this one 3 stars, and I came to the conclusion like 2 days ago that I think it's literally because there's a witch, and for some reason, as somebody who loves like a witchy vibe, I hate a book with a witch in it. I hate it. I don't know what the deal is, but I don't like it. So in this book, we follow Griselda, who goes by Zelda, and she is a kind of like retired witch. You know that she did some magic in her past that kind of led to people getting hurt, and ever since then, she's given up magic. She moved to California and has lived like hundreds of years just living her life. She does tiny little magical spells at the end of the day to kind of get some of that magical energy out of her. It's almost like it's giving her like anxiety. She works as a yogi and is just kind of living her life until one day she's crossed paths with this guy named Peter, who is actually there looking for her. He was sent by Reggie, who is the main male character in book 2, and he's very prevalent in book 1, to find Zelda because he is in fact a vampire who has amnesia. And so he and Zelda kind of go on this cross-country journey to help her get control back of her magic because it's starting to get out of control again, and to help him retrace his steps to figure out who he is and why he's there. It was okay. It took me a very long time to read it. It was literally putting me into a reading slump so bad. Then we actually had 2 books for our Sisterhood of the Traveling Books this month, but here we have Untamed by MJ Hendricks. This was Siobhan's pick, and I gave it 1 star. Sorry girl, I love you so much, but this was not it for me. So this claims it's a cowboy romance. I don't really believe in that. But this is about our main girl, Rosie. And what's the dude's name? I think this is multi-point of view, yeah. Rosie, I feel like every male main character is Wyatt in these cowboy books. Holden. Ugh. So this is about Rosie and Holden. Literally, it's like 8 years ago in the beginning or something crazy. 3.5 years earlier. Is literally Rosie walking in to like the barn looking for her best friend and seeing Holden getting orally pleasured, we will say. Just, that's how the book starts. And she's like, oh my god, I'm such a virgin. This is so crazy. And yes, it is the virgin trope, which if you know me, you know. Hate it so deeply. So he ends up going to jail for killing her uncle, and when he gets out, it's kind of all these mixed feelings. She is currently working kind of as like a housekeeper for his family because her best friend has chronic illness and it's really difficult for her to care for the house. So she's doing a bunch of stuff around the house, and she's also not on speaking terms with her dad, who is the mayor, and so she needs money. She's living in a shitty apartment. Her mom's not doing well emotionally. She may be on drugs. We don't really know. Her dad's constantly cheating on her mom, and she and her dad are just not speaking. This turns into a thriller. People are getting kidnapped. It was just so bad. There was no chemistry. I hated Holden. He was so mean. He was so cocky. He's the type of MMC that's like, you're lucky if I even look at you. Oh my god, I hated this. 1 star. Don't read it. But it was fun getting to like annotate it and see both Siobhan and Amber, because they were before me, their little notes as I went through the story. If the angle's a little bit different, had to go change your battery. So after, yeah, that's going to be in an upcoming Sisterhood of the Traveling Books video. I'm still waiting on one book for that. But then that'll be up, and Road Trip of the Vampire is in a continuing series video. For my Tattoos Pick My TBR, I then read Jaws. And this is really depressing because the first, like, 35% of this book was like 5 stars. This started out with such a graphic scene. Like, basically, I've never seen the movie Jaws. Apparently the book is a lot different than the movie, and the book is way worse. But there was nowhere that I didn't have to pay to watch the movie. So, anywho, in the book, it starts out where there are these people who are like at this beach house, and this guy had been hooking up with this girl. They went out to the beach early in the morning. He woke up on the beach. He had like her clothes. She was not there. He thought maybe she just left, but also why would she do that without clothes? That would be weird. And we get this really graphic scene of her being attacked by a shark and killed. They find part of her body and they're like describing it. It was very spooky, dark, crazy. Loved it. Amazing. And then we start getting into like the detective work with Detective Brody, and I think that's his name, figuring out like what's going on. Should they close the beach? Should they not close the beach? But there was this weird storyline with like Brody's wife having an affair with like this guy who comes to town who knows everything there is to know about sharks. Hated that storyline. Then there was this other weird storyline about like the town's like mayor and all the people, like the official people of the town, being like caught up with the mob, and why they don't want to close the beaches is because they need money to pay off their debts. I don't know. It was good until it wasn't. So I gave it 3 stars because of how much I liked the beginning. Also, I had said in a reel I wanted there to be more sharks, and somebody was like, there's famously only 1 shark in Jaws. Yeah, I get that, but I wanted there to be more of that shark. Give me more Bruce. Thank you very much. Then for my book swap with Madison, I read 19 Minutes by Jodi Picoult, and yeah, no, I did not like this at all. I gave this book 2 stars. This book is about weapons in a school. That's all I'm going to say about that, because I don't really want to get in trouble for talking about that. And we're basically following so many points of view. We've got the person, the perpetrator, we've got all of the like 10 people who got injured, we've got his best friend, we've got the mayor, we've got the mom, we've got this person's mom, we've got the people who died's parents. Like, we've got so many people we're following. But for me, I think the issue with this book was A, how many people we're following, and B, that this book is very, very long, like almost 500 pages, and we spent little to no time getting to know the characters before the incident happened. So the incident happened, and yes, it's like naturally a horrifying incident because of what it is, but we didn't spend enough time getting to know people, and I just didn't like it. I thought it was incredibly boring. The twists were stupid. They were very obvious. Not a fan. I do love Jodi Picoult though. That just one was not for me. Then also for my buzzword reading challenge, I read This Is How We Roll, a queer anthology edited by Rosie Thor. This was like, it had to have a keyboard key. We had an exclamation point. This was really cute. This was a collection of 12 short stories that are queer, YA, and about D&D. There's really nothing more to say about it. I gave this 4 stars because I am just not an anthology person. Every time I would get like sucked into the short story, it would be over. And I'm like, but where's the rest of it? Especially the first story. I absolutely loved the first story. It was like about this like friend group, or this girl who was like recently injured and whatever, and her brother kind of sets up this D&D group for her, and it's just all these people kind of finding their place as D&D does, and it was just really sweet. 4 stars. Then for a Libby Picks My Reads video, I read The Push by Ashley Audrain. This book was so fun. If you have more books that are this vibe, let me know. This is about, we get multiple points of view. We get Blythe, well, multiple timelines. We get Blythe as an adult and Blythe as a child. Blythe was pretty heavily abused by her mom. Her mom had a lot of mental health issues, causing her to deeply abuse Blythe. Then Blythe becomes a mom, and she is so very much not connected to her daughter Violet, to the point that she thinks her daughter Violet is like violent and evil in all of these things. Is she? Who knows? Maybe. And then whenever she has her second baby, a boy, Sam I think his name is, yeah, she connects to him instantly. So she's like, well, obviously it's not me, it's definitely something with Violet. And we follow this story of like Violet doing some crazy ass shit and seeing how nobody is believing Blythe, that Violet may be a bit wackadoodle. Then for an upcoming mood reading vlog, I read this chonker, Just for the Summer by Megan Quinn, and I gave this book 4 stars. It was very devastating though, because for most of this book it was 5 stars, but the third act conflict in this book, especially with it being so long and you get to like hear and things just start going so stupid, oh, I was so mad. This is about Graydon. He's our main male character. He is in the NHL. He's a professional football player, and he is on this team for San Francisco, and all of these San Francisco teams are kind of getting some heat for being like not so great in the public eye. And so the like public relations person for all of these teams, she kind of sets up for Graydon from football, then we have somebody from, I believe, basketball, and somebody from baseball, are all going to be working in collaboration with San Francisco Zoo. They're each going to like team up with a different zookeeper, and they're going to help raise money for the zoo to help out the zoo while also helping out their team's appearance. The other people get set up with like a giraffe person and a like lion person, and then Graydon gets set up. I read a book with Maple and a book with Mabel, so I keep getting them confused. With Maple, who is the flamingo person. She's lived her life for flamingos. She lived in Peru for years. This is her life. So when he comes in and immediately starts being really rude about the flamingos, she wants nothing to do with him. She cannot stand him. As they get to know each other, he's kind of pissed because he feels like he's doing all of this for the zoo, but he's not getting like guaranteed good press from it. So they kind of make this deal that they're gonna start this collaborative Instagram page called Flock and Tackle, and so they post their first picture on there and it blows up because everybody thinks that they are dating, and this is the best thing that could happen for the team. His tickets are up, sales are up, their image cannot be better. Maple easily agrees because she thinks this is going to give even more money to the zoo for her flamingos. So they start this fake dating situation, and Graydon kind of is making her feel like he doesn't want to or doesn't see her like that because she's not pretty enough, she's not good enough, but really he's trying to protect her. He has lived a really kind of tragic life. His dad was also a football player, and his dad is very like mentally abusive towards him, very horrible towards him. And his mom sustained a head injury and has like no long-term or no memory. Basically, she got hit in the head when he was 16, and she has no memories past that, and anything like that happens past that she does not remember. So they have a very hard relationship because she doesn't recognize him, doesn't believe he's her son, and he's dealing with a lot of things. And so that's kind of why he doesn't want the public coming for Maple in a mean way. He wants to protect her because she is sensitive. But overall, it was really fun. It's Megan Quinn. There's a lot of hee hee ha ha moments, but that third act breakup was so stupid. Then for an upcoming Afterlight video where I read my Afterlight books, I did read Daddy Issues by Kate Goldbeck. This is obviously the Afterlight exclusive edition. This is about Sam and Nick. Sam is kind of feeling like she's stuck in life. She is trying to get into this graduate program. Nothing's really going right. She's back living in her mom's house. She doesn't even have a proper room. She lives in her mom's office on a futon with her boxes of comic books around her. Comic books were something she and her dad really connected on. She went to school for art, and when she realized she didn't really love that, she switched to something else in the art industry that wasn't necessarily drawing. She and Nick have an interaction at the pool. Well, he's there with her daughter, and he asks her if she lives there, and she's like, oh no, my mom does. So he thinks she's just visiting. When he finds out she's actually his next door neighbor, things get a little hairy, and they start doing things for each other as favors, helping mount some shelving, XYZ. And as they start to get to talking, they start realizing that they kind of have feelings for each other. Her mom is simultaneously trying to hook him up with all of her single mom friends because he is significantly older than Sam. But as time goes on, we really get to see their relationship develop. It was fun seeing somebody like Sam, who really doesn't like kids and is not sure how she feels even being around them, date somebody with kids and ask him those hard questions. And I don't know, overall I really liked this. I don't really understand why. Well, I guess I can see, because Sam's kind of annoying, why people aren't liking it, but overall I really enjoyed this. 4 stars, definitely recommend. And then for the continuing series video, I read Sawyer by Jessica Peterson. This is my least favorite. This is my least favorite book so far in this series. I'm not necessarily obsessed with this series in general. I gave book 1 3 stars, book 2 4 stars, and this one I gave 2 stars, unfortunately, which is really sad because I thought I was really gonna like it. This is about Ava and Sawyer. They're both single parents, and one wild night in Austin, they meet at a honky-tonk. They have crazy sex right at the beginning of the book. I like a slow burn, so that in itself was already going to be a bit of a downer. But they had this crazy one night together. She leaves in the morning. Flash forward, she is actually working in the town where Lucky River Ranch is that Sawyer lives at. And they reconnect, and their daughters become fast friends, and we see them kind of getting together for the girls, start talking. I just didn't believe them as a couple. I didn't believe in their connection other than it being physical. Whenever they were talking about the girls playing together, it was like, oh, we snuck away for a quickie in the bathroom, a quickie in the car, a quickie here, a quickie there, and I'm like, where's the emotion? There was just not enough heart, not enough emotion, which is kind of wild because book 2 had a ton of emotion. This one just was not good. 2 stars. Then I read a 4-star read for the Afterlight video, which is When I Picture You by Sasha Lawrence. This book is about Renee and Lola. Lola is a pop star and Renee is a film student. So they know each other from childhood. They actually lived next door, and they reconnect at Lola's sister's wedding. They chat a little bit. Renee can't tell if Lola is flirting or not. As far as she knows, Lola is straight. What she doesn't know, that Lola is at the very least bisexual. And so they get to talking, they hook up, and they go their separate ways. She doesn't really think anything of it. She's like, wow, that was fun, whatever. She gets a call not too long after that from Lola. Lola has been struggling to write music. She has severe writer's block because the last album that she wrote was about her girlfriend at the time who nobody is really allowed to know existed because her agency does not want her coming out. They think it'll be like a bad look for her. They think it'll give her bad press, whatever their reasons are actually pretty dumb, but they don't want her coming out. So she doesn't. And so when they want her to do this like documentary about her filming or making of her new album, they come to her with like who they want to direct it, and she's like, absolutely not. I see what this guy does. I see what this guy does to people's, like, to different artists, and I don't want that. I in fact know a director. Her name is Renee. We're gonna bring her in. And so she brings Renee in, and Renee is really there, is seeing like how like little agency Lola has over her life, from simply just like picking her gown for an event, what she says. She's over it. So she's really helping her branch out and get to live her life for herself. I really liked it. 4 stars. Then, also for that video, I read this one, which is The Marriage Narrative by Claire Can, and this is about Zinnia and Jordan, and Zinnia, how do they word it? She turns her dating profile into, like, a marriage merger, is what it says. Like, she basically puts in there, like, I want to get married, XYZ, like, I don't really want to fuck around. Jordan, his whole family has been part of this reality TV show, kind of like the Kardashians style show, and he's never been a part of it. But he is now agreeing to come onto the show, and his family wants him to get married to kind of drum up some interest in the show. He doesn't want to because he doesn't want them to pick some socialite for him to be with, so he sees Zinnia's profile, messages her, and she agrees to marry him. So she does. So we're just kind of faced with her kind of integrating herself with the family. They have like their bungalow and the bathrooms are the only places where they are not recorded, and in those moments they start to really develop feelings for each other. But his family is so mean to her. So mean to her, and sometimes he defends her, but a lot of the times he's defending his family. Well, it's just for TV. It's not really their personalities. And I'm like, it doesn't really matter. It's hurting her feelings. So, like, tell him to shut the fuck up. And so him not standing up for Zinnia in the way that I wanted him to made me give this book 3 stars. Was not my favorite, but it was still fun. Then I had my first of only 2 5 stars this month, which was Small Town Swoon by Melanie Harlow. The other book that's 5 stars, spoiler alert, these are both in an upcoming mood reading vlog, was the last book in this series. The first book in this series I gave 4 stars, second 5 stars, third 4 stars, and the last 2 5 stars. Is this series really that good? No. No. But it's like somebody injected drugs into this book, and I ate them up. I eat them up so quickly, so fast. They're so fun. I don't know what it is, but I loved it. So this is Small Town Swoon. This is book 4. This whole series is about this family, the Buckley family. We got book 1 is about Austin. It's a single dad romance, single dad nanny. Book 2 is about Xavier. He is a ex-military bodyguard country star romance. Book 3 is Devlin and I don't remember the girl's name, but it's like a marriage of convenience, super fun ski resort book. And then this one is about Dashiell, who is an actor, and Ari, who is a chef. Dash and Ari, yeah. So Dash is a actor, but he's kind of been pegged as this like heartthrob, hot guy with no brains type of role. He's done it for a lot of years, and now he's being pigeonholed into that. He wants to break out and do work that he feels is more meaningful. He goes to see a psychic, and she's kind of like, you need to get in touch with your inner self. And he decides that he has about a month until he's supposed to be going back home to Cherry Tree Harbor for his brother's wedding, that he's just going to go up early and try to reconnect with his roots. While he's up there, he reconnects with Ari. Ari is his sister's best friend, and she has always kind of had a crush on him, and he knows that because when he was 18 and she was 16, he snuck into his room in the middle of the night, took her clothes off, and basically asked him to take her virginity, to which he said no because he was trying to be a gentleman. Now it's years later. She left New York City, where she was a chef, to come work at her family's diner called Moe's, and she's kind of struggling with that decision because her family's not letting her have any agency over what happens at the restaurant, even though she's going to be taking over. They're not letting her change any of the recipes or even have like daily specials. She 2 days a week is allowed to have specials that are more upscale, and even though they sell out every day, they don't really care. So her family, her parents, she was like a miracle baby, as they call her. They were like older when they had her because they didn't think they could have kids. And they're going on this multiple week-long vacation, and Ari is left to handle everything. Things are kind of going amok, and Dash is really there to swoop in and save the day every time. I love. He kind of confides in her. They also have not that great of a relationship at the beginning. She feels very embarrassed about what happened when she was a young girl and has kind of harbored resentment towards him. But they make amends. He tells her why he's really there, and she comes up with this great idea. He's going to come over, taste test recipes for her, and she's going to introduce him to all of her most emotional books to show him what he's doing wrong. And it was so fun. I loved it. 5 stars. I accidentally skipped a book. My bad. I read also For My Sister the Traveling Books. You can see this one's really tabbed up. This was Teresa's book. She is the pink color, and she went ham. And I love that. This is The House in the Cerulean Sea by TJ Klune. Keep in mind, I have bad taste when I tell you I gave this 3 stars, and I didn't really like it. I gave it 3 stars because I liked it enough. It was good, but like I'm never going to think about this again. This book gave the vibes of if The Wayward Children series was written by Frederick Bachman. I keep saying that. That's just how I feel. I DNF'd The Wayward Children series, and I don't like Frederick Bachman's writing, which I know is a hot take. But I like books that are written like trash. I don't like a well-written book, and this book is written well. This also is a fantastical book, which I struggle with because I'm unable to mentally picture things in my mind. But this is about Linus. He is a caseworker for the department in charge of magical youth. They basically go around to these different orphanages that have magical children there and make sure everything's running right. When he gets sent on this mission by extremely upper management to go to this house that has some of the most extreme children at it, he's a little bit nervous. He's going there to not only check on the children, but to kind of get insight on Arthur, the caretaker of this house, because he feels like the reports that he's getting from the upper management feels the reports they're getting are not adequate. Once he gets there, he has like files on the children he needs to look at. He opens the first one. It's about our boy Lucifer. Who's magic? He's the Antichrist. And he's like, what's going on? We have got a wyvern, we have got a female gnome, which is apparently rare, a forest sprite, and we've got this other little dude who nobody knows what he even is. That's why he's there. So it's a beautiful story of found family, accepting yourself, accepting others, and it's him really exploring what's going on there and how well Arthur is taking care of these children. It was fine. It was just not really my cup of tea. Then I did forget. I did DNF this book under the same stars by Libba Bray. It was not my cup of tea, not for me. So I did DNF that as well. We have 2 more books. Or no, we have 4 more books. I forgot there's 2 I don't own. Then for an upcoming book swap video with my friend Maria, I read Class Mom by Lori Gelman. This is about our main character, which is her name, Jen. Jen is a mom, a class mom. She is almost like a second time mom. She had 2 daughters who were like old and out of the house, and then she has a 5-year-old. And so she's being a class mom, but she really just like doesn't give a shit. We're getting to read her emails, which are like really savage. She says a lot of questionable things, and I found her 50% of the time to be funny, but like 50% of the time to be so extremely off-putting. And so she gets like fired from being the class mom, brought back to being the class mom, and it's really just like her journey. I don't know. I think if you're a parent, you would like the book better. I think I did struggle because like any of these issues of being a parent just simply did not apply to me. And I just found Jen to be quite off-putting. So 2 stars, don't really recommend that one. Then I had my second 5-star of the month, which was Slapshot Surprise by Melanie Harlow. This is the final book in the series, and it is about the only sister in the Buckley family, Mabel. Mabel she has a really cool job. She's like a museum historian, curator type person, and she's kind of lived all over doing crazy things. But she is ready to move back home to Cherry Tree Harbor. All of her siblings are getting married and having kids, and she really wants to be around family. And when the Cherry Tree Harbor Historical Society opens up a job, she thinks that's her sign to go back home. On her flight home, she splurged for first class because she's a very anxious flyer. She wanted the aisle, she gets the window, it's already not going well, and when this super big, hot guy sits next to her, I'm gonna be honest, they describe him as being like tall with dark hair and blue eyes and tan. And I was reading this the day after the Traitors finale, so he was just Rob Roush, okay? It was just the journey we went on. So he sits next to her. There is crazy turbulence on this flight. She starts panicking and starts spewing off all the things in life that she never got to do. I never had good sex. I've always been faking it. I never got married. I never had kids. I never did this. I never did that. I never splurged on expensive luxury items. I never bought a new car and got to smell the new car smell. And so he's kind of calming her down, whatever. They introduce themselves. She finds out he's an NHL player. And she's mortified. When the plane lands, she runs off. So she and Ari from the previous book, as we mentioned, Small Town Swoon, they are going to Ari's cousin's wedding because Dash is away on set doing some sort of film. And so Mabel agrees to be her date. While they're there sitting there, she realizes one of the groomsmen, it's Joe. Joe, the hockey player she sat next to on the plane. She is mortified. He kind of comes up to her, they hit it off, and they have a glorious night of sex, as one does. Flash forward a month later, girl's pregnant. She's like, great, what am I gonna do? She's like, I'm considering all my options. I moved back home because I wanted to be more in the family spirit, so I think this is like the sign that this is what I'm gonna do. She's like, I don't really expect anything from Joe, but I obviously have to tell him. So she contacts him via Instagram and goes down to Chicago to tell him. When she tells him, he almost passes out, truly. And he's like, okay, well, like, do you want to get married? And she's like, we're not getting married. No, that's not what I'm doing here. Like, I'm fine raising this baby on my own. I'm just letting you know. You can be as involved or not involved as you want. He's like, well, I want to be involved. It's my kid. Like, I don't, like, but hockey's my priority right now. She's like, that's fine. I'm not asking anything from you. And he's like, okay, well, I'm obviously going to support you financially and do X, Y, Z, but as somebody has no interest in having kids, I always say I don't like the accidental pregnancy trope because it's my worst nightmare, but I think I'm learning that I do actually like it in books because the men in these books are very acts of service heavy, which I love. And so he keeps showing up for her in ways that even He'll text her every day, how are you doing? Oh, you know, I'm having some morning sickness. Next day, I asked my sister what worked for her. Here are all of these things. Oh, what are you doing? Oh, shopping for maternity clothes. Next day, maternity clothes arrive. He is doing these things for her. He's showing up for her appointments, doing all these things. And as they start chatting and connecting, he starts realizing maybe I have feelings for her. But is it worth the risk? Loved it. 5 stars. Incredible chef's kiss. My favorite one in the series. Boom. Then I had read The Ex-Hex by Erin Sterling for my book swap with Madison. And I ended up giving this book 2 stars as well. Sorry, girl. Love you so much. Again, I think I just don't like witchy books. I just don't think it's for me. This is about this girl, Vivi, and she and her cousin. It gave me a lot of the same feelings as this book. But she and her cousin... She was dating this guy whose like family kind of like owns the town. There are magic people and there's not magic people. They're kind of dispersed. Some know about them, some don't, whatever. She doesn't practice a lot of magic. Her mom wasn't big into using her magic. And so when she's dating this guy, he breaks her heart. She and her cousin curse him. And now he's back in town trying to do like this ceremony to like power the ley lines. And because he's cursed in this town, bad things go amok and they're kind of spending the whole book trying to fix things. It was very blah to me, so I gave it 2 stars. And my last book of the month was also 2 stars, and this is going to be an upcoming read and bake with me. And it was The Lemon Meringue Pie Murder by Joanne Fluke. This book was written in 2003, and this is just a classic cozy mystery. We've got our main girl, Hannah, who owns the cookie jar, and she keeps getting herself kind of intertwined with these murders. This video is a spoiler-filled video, so you'll get all my real thoughts, but basically, this guy Mike, she's kind of in a love triangle with this guy Mike, who's a police officer, and who's kind of constantly telling her to stop getting involved, and this guy Norman, who's a dentist. Norman buys this house from this lady Rhonda to build he and Hannah's dream home, even though they were not together. Very strange. And so, that happens, and so they go like collect the antiques because Hannah's mom, Dolores, owns an antique store. And while they're there, they find Rhonda in the house dead with Hannah's lemon meringue pie in hand. So, it's then the mystery of what happened to Rhonda. It's been an issue. This is book, I think, 4 in the series. It's been an issue with the other 3 books about constant talk about weight. But it was to the extreme in this book because typically it's been about a side character, but this was about Hannah feeling like she needs to lose 30 pounds and she's on a diet and she can only eat low-cal dressing and lettuce. She can't have cookies. She can't do this. She can't do that. To impress a man, to fit into these jeans. Oh my God, it was making me want to die. And then her sister Michelle, the youngest sister, comes into town. They're making these comments about her hair color, about her clothes, about her dating life, very like slut-shaming her. And I'm just like, shut the fuck up. And it pissed me off too much to give it anything but a 2-star. But that's everything I read this month, friends. Thank you so much for watching. If you made it to the end of the video, leave a shamrock emoji down below because it is now March. And I hope next month is a better reading time for me. Bye, guys!